Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's time for coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Steve Herz. I thought perhaps you could impart some of your wisdom and lessons learned for our young listeners who do want to become agents. What do you think the most important things for a young agent to keep in mind are to become one of the best?
Honestly, become an amazing, amazing communicator. Really, really learn how to win the room. Learn how to energize people, learn how to be the person that everybody wants to be around, be that magnetic personality, however you find that magnetism, be someone that is trusting, be dependable, just dot all your I's, cross all your T's, don't make spelling mistakes in emails, don't make grammatical errors, be very detail oriented, be reliable, be both reliable and be someone that is proactive. And if you have that type of personality and you have that level of proactivity, then I think you can be very successful. And also study the field. Study the field. It's a very specific industry. They don't teach how to be an agent in college, graduate school. They don't teach whether you get into the movie part of the industry or the sports television business, the sports business. Learn the granularity of the business. Know the language. Know the players. Know the people. Know the history. Read the books. I'm not great. I've done a lot of things. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. But I must have read literally 100 books on the industry, probably within the first 5 years I was in the business, whether it was the history of Disney or whatever it might have been, to learn about who these people were. Who was Lou Wasserman? You want to know that if you're in this business. You want to know how Ronald Reagan granted the SAG waiver. You want to know that history. So if you're in a meeting with someone, that you know why the world works the way it does right now, because everything always works based on something that happened in the past. And if you don't know the past, you can't inform yourself in the present.
Are there certain qualities that you've noticed that great agents share?
I think it's a curiosity, a real deep curiosity. If you're the type of person that likes to take apart the garage door opener when it breaks and put it back together and learn how it worked, that's the type of person that will be a great agent. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be handy, but you have to have that kind of deconstructive mindset in something. If you want to be a filmmaker, you want to know, why did Steven Spielberg pick that shot in Jaws? Why was that the choice he made? What was he thinking in that moment? You want to try to put yourself in that mindset of the person doing the job that you want to do and understand why they did what they did so you can do it and make that same decision or a different decision, but at least you know why you're making that decision in the moment. And that intellectual curiosity, that deep desire to learn, that's the quality that I find is always present in the very successful people that we've had.
I read a quote from one of your clients on your website from Erica Duncan, who's a national correspondent for CBS News. And she said, finding the right agent can be difficult. You're entrusting your career to someone you barely know. After meeting Steve Herz and Jeff Feldman, I felt if management had my best interests at heart. They helped me move from Buffalo to Philadelphia and then to CBS News in New York. More importantly, IF is an agency that cares more about the people than the job. When my daughter was born, Steve and Jeff stopped by my home with cupcakes in hand to see how the baby and I were doing. That kind of care and attention is what makes IF different from other agencies. Would you say that's the kind of personal touch that sets you apart?
I mean, I hope so. I do think other agencies do that too. And so I think that's why we're in a very competitive field. If we were the only ones doing that, we'd probably have our pick of everybody. But I think that these are very intensely personal relationships. And if you don't care about the client, if you don't care about their families, if you don't care about them, I don't think you can do your job well. I really don't. And I've said that. we're not for everybody, our agency, but we choose to want to represent people who are really interested in a friendship in addition to a business relationship. And that's not for everybody, but that's the way we want to do it. And so I think it's most effective that way. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story on that note. Last year, in August, a year ago, my daughter was bat mitzvahed in Israel, in Jerusalem. And
Mazel tov.
Thank you. And one of my longtime clients, Greg Amsinger and his wife, Erica, they flew to Israel for my daughter's bat mitzvah, along with my parents, my brother, and close friends. There were the Amsingers. And, that's the kind of relationship we have. And that's the kind of people that we represent. And it's an indication of, I think, it's not so much, this is not a business answer to your question, but it's the kind of life I want to live. To me, life isn't worth living, or your business isn't worth doing if it's just a numbers game. That's going to be very disheartening, I think, in the long run.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.